Hi, I'm Dave Dobbins.
And I'm Eve McHugh.
And welcome to Victory Videos. This week we're coming to you from the Museum Center at Union Terminal right here in Cincinnati.
That's right. It's a wonderful place to be, and it's spectacular exhibits.
Well, this particular facility was opened up and built in 1933, Eve, and what has happened is it's been transformed, as you know, to the over on one side, we have the Cincinnati Historical Society, which we'll see today, and over on this side of the facility, the Cincinnati Museum of Natural History. Also behind us is the
Omnimax Theater,
which is
we just
mind-blowing.
Visited. That was neat.
Unbelievable.
It was. I can't wait to go back.
So this is quite an undertaking that a lot of the people here in the arts in Cincinnati have taken this particular facility and just transformed it totally from what used to be a train station in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s on to now where thousands of people are coming in literally every day to find out about the history of Cincinnati. Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
On today's Victory Videos, we'll be bringing you a bunch of new videos on our new artist showcase this week.
There are lots of people who have a message and a pure desire to share the message of God's love through music.
This month is no exception, with new exciting music featuring all different styles of music: rap, alternative rock, folk, and just hard rock and roll. They're all here.
On today's Victory Videos, we'll see new artist showcase for Mike E., DC Talk, Violent Burning, Rachel, For Him, and a close-up interview with Julie Miller and Europe's Best, Iona and Eden Adal.
That's right. Well, to get started, here's a man who recently toured with Michael W. Smith. It's Mikey with his new video, Howsin', followed by DC Talk's latest, A New Thing. 2 in a row on Victory Videos. Let's groove it in.
God is doing a new thing.
Yeah. You back. Come on, let's go. Come on. Doing a new thing. Look at that.
Go again, my friend, another story to tell, another heart to win, to catch a brother who fell and bring a sister into the house that we're housing. And when I say we, I mean me and the G-Rap posse, back to the max by the Holy Trinity. If you're in the sitting, then you better warn us, cause when we start hitting, don't try to conform us. We hit the stage and we hit with the rampage, blown away sin like it was hit with the 12 gauge. I live large and I don't think small, hold my head high and I'ma stand tall. Squash the down and I'ma kick it to the curb, pump the up cause it's back by the word. Take the negative and drop it in a hole that I would drop a mouse in, cause me and my father's house.
Come and go with me to my father's house. We can live together.
And we'll be housing.
Come and go with me to my father's house. We can live forever.
From coast to coast and from hall to hall, we're jamming them in and coming wall to wall. Looking for someone with the truth revealing, trying to find more than just a good feeling. I got it, you need it, if you want it, here it is. It's time to make a change and put your life into his. And he can take you to a place where you can chill forever. Not down here, this place is much more clever. Talking eternity, sweet serenity. It's the place that you yearn to be, but first you must learn to be the one that he's calling for. Then comes the evermore. His face you must adore just to get through the door. Squash the down and kick it to the curb. Pump the up cause it's back by the word. Take the negative and drop it in a hole that I would drop a mouse in, cause me and my father's house.
Come and go with me
like and I like what I like. Forget about what we like, it's all about what he likes. And he likes to be the one in full control of your heart, of your mind, of your body, and your soul. And I'm down with that, cause he's the one that made me. The power over evil is the power that he gave me. But not only that, he gave me the mind to catch the beat, then lose your feet, to find the groove and drop the rhyme. So here's your chance, dance, move to the stupid jet PG rap house groove. Squash it down and kick you to the curb. Pump the up cause it's back by the word. Take the negative and drop it in a hole that I would drop a mouse in. To me and my father's house.
Come and go with me to my father's
House. You know why? Cause in my father's house I got a mansion, plenty of space and room for expansion, streets of gold and a crystal sea. Won't you come and go with me? Don't you wanna go? Peace.
We can live forever.
Man, that is so clever.
You know he's doing it. God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it. God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it.
Who's doing it?
God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it.
Yo, who's doing it?
God is doing a new thing.
My God is doing a brand new thing, but since time began, he remains the same. Faithful forever to his word and solid. I call a stone unstirred, but look down through the ages and you will find God doesn't change, but he knows in time. The heart to piano and soul to rap, you know. God's with us, so we cannot lack it. So
God is doing a new thing.
our lives are
We're doing a new thing.
through Jesus Christ.
God is doing a new thing.
Our music,
We're doing a new thing.
so he can use it. God's using this music and becoming strong. DC talking on singing a song to make you think twice about the way that you live and let you know Christ is the one that gives peace in your heart, a new start. Peace in your heart, a new start. Call on the Lord and he'll do his part. A brand new thing to your raggedy walk. He might just match it up to that big old talk.
God is doing a new thing.
Our lives are
We're doing a new thing.
through Jesus Christ.
God is doing a new thing.
Our music.
We're doing a new thing. Hit me. You know he's doing it.
Who's doing it?
God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it.
Yo, who's doing it?
God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it. God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it. Doing it. God is doing a new thing.
Like an MC, I'm here to boast. I brag about Christ, yo, here's a dose. So loud, I'm proud of the God I serve. Try to say you ain't with it, huh? You got nerve. Christ is the reason for DC talk. He's a focus of our daily walk, y'all. Without him, we ain't nothing but names. But through God, we're doing brand new things.
God is doing a new thing.
In our lives,
We're doing a new thing.
through Jesus Christ.
God is doing a new thing.
Our music,
We're doing a new thing.
so he
Welcome back. That was Mikey.
And DC Talk.
I'd like that.
A good video, too.
Just keep on going.
Yes.
We're inside of the Cincinnati Historical Society, and this is the Cincinnati Goes to War exhibit.
Yeah, it previews World War II in Cincinnati. And the Cincinnatians, people from Cincinnati, brought these historical artifacts from their homes and gave them to the Historical Cincinnati to present here. And it's only going to be here for four years.
4 years, which opened in the spring of this past year. This is the actual area here where the cars used to exit when they came through, when the people came to the terminal to take off in the trains a while back. A little history, the construction began in August of 1929 of this particular facility. It was dedicated March 31st of 1933. Designed to accommodate 17,000 passengers a day, and it hosted 216 trains per day. 108 trains in, 108 trains out. That was a busy time.
That's right. It reopened at the Museum Center of Cincinnati Union Terminal in November 1990.
And it closed.
Oh, sorry. And it closed as a railway station in 1972. The last passenger train was in 1972. The Amtrak return passenger train service to Union Terminal on July 29th, 1991. And the Museum Center grand opening is November 2nd, 1991, which was
A couple of weeks ago.
And the Museum Center complex contains 500,000 square feet of multi-purpose space, the area of 14 football fields. So Bengals, go figure.
That's right. Now, this particular facility here, which is Cincinnati Goes to War, is just a small part of this huge facility, which we're going to show you a little part of on today's Victory Videos. This is Cincinnati Goes to War, and we're going to go on down through here and take you on down to some of the old artifacts.
Yeah.
But we'll be back with more Victory Videos right after this.
It makes life safer to have rules.
Yeah, if you didn't have rules, someone would get hurt. You shouldn't make noise on the bus because sometimes the bus driver, he needs to hear everything.
Like when you have to stop by the train tracks.
Yeah.
You shouldn't stay too close to the curb, otherwise you could get flattened or something.
You should walk at least 10 feet away from the bus so you can see the driver and the driver can see you.
It's very cool to follow the rules.
Despite all the warnings about high blood cholesterol, some people are oblivious to its dangers. Dangers like a heart attack. Have a doctor check your cholesterol level, and if it's high, learn what to do about it. Life has enough risks.
To Victory Videos. Here we are inside of the Cincinnati Goes to War display, and we're in front of one of the very first gas stations, and Eve's going to tell us all about that. Eve, go to it, kid.
I'm going to try
History
anyway.
expert.
This is really interesting. This is what a replica of a gas station would be in World War II times. And as you can see on the back, there's a chart there of how mileage was rationed out to people driving cars and what you got according to what kind of person you were and how important you were. And here is a type of gas station pump that you would find in that time. Very interesting. We cannot pump it, however, it is locked.
Get you some gas there, Eve.
But I'm sure it pumped over, 40,000 gallons of gasoline. So that's a pretty old pump.
At the simple cost of 19 cents a gallon. A deal for you right here in Cincinnati.
Unfortunately, it's not that cheap now. Well, up next are two groups from Europe's finest Christian bands. Is a group from England called Iona with their thoughtful song about Scottish Island, a video called The Island. This island is a place where Columba launched a great missionary work from the island of Iona of Scotland. The group consists of a female Irish singer, Jonah Hogg, a Scotsman, Dave Fitzgerald, and an Englishman, Dave Bainbridge.
Different kind of name, Dave Bainbridge.
Yes.
Scottish.
Is that Scottish?
That's a Scottish name.
Very Scottish man stated. Combines the best debut album, 1991, featuring jazz, fusion, classical rock, Chinese flute, and Irish whistles. Very interesting sound, I'm sure. Followed by Sweden's premier Christian rock group, Eden Adal, a group featuring two brothers with their video, Like a Wind. Two groups promoting the love of God from across the Atlantic. That's 2 in a row on Victory Videos.
Enjoy them.
See, the sun is rising, our day is dawning on the island. See,
inside this streetcar. Get ready for a ride.
I know it's pretty bumpy.
Got a bouncy in here. Well, you know
I
these.
think I used my right hairspray. My hair would be flying all over the place.
Well, you know the terminal, Eve, was designed for streetcars, but none ever came in here until they brought this one to the Union Terminal Museum Center just recently.
Just recently?
The story goes that someone had this cable car, this trolley car, somewhere here in Cincinnati, and it was found. It was covered over and very old, and it was donated so that we could be sitting here today. But I think we got to get. Okay, conductor's car. Got aboard. Okay, listen, we got to see you later. We'll be back with more Victor Videos after this. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh. Not too far now, fella.
Be careful.
When she was 6, after a few scrapes and tumbles, her dad taught her how to ride a two-wheeler. When she was 9, he helped her build a telescope that could see the moons of Jupiter. When she was 14, after a lot of giggling and giving up, her mom finally taught her how to hit a wicked two-handed backhand. All through her growing up, Susie's parents taught her well. But for all their love and attention, there was one lesson left untaught. Susie's parents never taught her about drugs. They never told her that drugs maim, drugs kill. So Susie learned one final lesson on her own. When you don't say no to your kids about drugs, it's the same as saying yes.
Like most college students, Ben spends a lot of time in the classroom. Now, you might not consider this too unusual until you consider that a year ago, Ben was a junkie who ate from dumpsters and slept on the streets. His professor says the change in Ben is a miracle. Ben says it was the help of the Salvation Army. Fact is, they're both right. With your help, we're making a world of difference.
Welcome back to Victor Videos. We're inside the cable car. It was a good ride, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it
A little
was.
bumpy.
Yes, it was very interesting little ride here. Bumpy. But
Now,
my
this
hair's
cable
still on.
car, it had laws up here. You're going to read one of these things up
Yeah,
on the wall
this
here.
is interesting. It says no smoking or spitting.
Or spitting.
I have that terrible habit, so
Yeah.
if I start to spit, please
It
stop me.
says
I don't want to be taken to jail now.
Smoking and spitting in this vehicle are prohibited by law, section 64-32E and 67-15. So in case you're in a cable car, you are not allowed to spit. In case you didn't know that. Now, this particular cable car went from Clifton to Ludlow, right here in Cincinnati, back in the 20s or the 30s. Today we're talking about new artists who are helping to shape the course of Christian music for the future. So many songs have been written, and few have made their ways into the hearts of men and women. Only a select few have become great songs. Only a select few are brought before us. Some we never see. Up next, a new artist, Julie Miller, who came on the scene a while back. Let's meet her now. Here's a close look at Julie Miller on Victory Videos.
Julie Miller writes and performs with extraordinary honesty about the good and bad news in her life. The bad news is that Julie is among the inconceivably high number of women who know the unholy trauma of sexual abuse. Some estimates run as high as 38% by the age of 18. The good news is that Julie is one of the most remarkable new recording artists we've heard in years.
Pain from childhood makes you feel so isolated. You feel so incredibly alone, and you can't distinguish between, you mean God's not like this man? If God's like my father, it's actually, God is still working on me. Even to say father, calling God father, is like, get stuck in my mouth. And I'm in a group of women who are survivors of being sexually molested. And they're all Christians, you know. And sometimes, but rarely, but sometimes God touches one of us in a miraculous way where it's like, where he lifts us right over a river, but most of the way, he's just walking along with us, and we just have to face these things that we just, it's like facing monsters to me. That's what it feels like.
Thorns on his head, spear in his side. It was a heartache that made him cry. He gave his life so you would understand. Is there any way you could say no to this man?
As you become an adult, that pressure starts banging down your door. And you start acting it out, and you start feeling crazy. And actually, you know, people that have been abused, I honestly don't know how they do it without Jesus.
Is there any way you could say no to this man?
Children have this wonderful ability to say to themselves, this horrible thing did not happen, and I don't believe it, and I'm forgetting all about it right now. I sort of see our family as like the smile face family, big yellow hands with a smile and 2 dots. Because we were like we went to church and sang in the choir and parents taught Sunday school, and then came out of the church door, and wow, were the things ever different and very totally opposite, and no one ever said, yes, there's a problem here. Finally, I actually said to God, God, I cannot do this. I do not know how to do this. So goodbye. Do whatever it takes to really bring me to you. I actually said those exact words to God. It was like the Lord drew back and said, okay, I'm gonna let you see how good you really are.
How could you look in his tear-stained eyes, knowing it's you he's thinking of?
And welcome back to Victor Videos. That was our interview with
Julie Miller.
Julie Miller. She's an interesting gal. Well, we got on the time machine and we
I
went
think
back
so.
in time. We have our same clothes, but
Look
where
what's
are
behind.
we, Eve?
We are in 1850s and 60s replica of Main Street and Front Street in Cincinnati.
Wow, how did we get... You mean this is where Otis Redding got the song Dock of the Bay? Get it?
I don't think so.
Well, this was pre-Civil War times where this is a replica of one of the boats, how people got around in these times.
That's right. It was also a cargo boat. All these barrels you see around me were put on the ship and cargoed back and forth down the river.
So this was a passenger as well as a cargo ship. Right.
Yes, and the commission merchant, as you see over here, he was in charge of making sure who got what went in and out of the boats, and make sure it was loaded up properly.
Right, and I was going to correct this because I know if my father was watching this, he'd say this is not a ship, it's a boat.
It's a boat. But it's a replica. It's only
replica.
a scale model
And the
of what the
cobblestone?
life size was.
That's right, cobblestone and everything.
Actual river water right below
Actual
us.
real Ohio River water. And we're sitting on some of the boxes that are going to go in this boat. They're getting ready to load it up pretty soon, so we're going to get going so we can get on the boat here.
That's
But we
right.
want to remind you, coming up later on in Victor Videos will be part 2 of that Julie Miller interview. And coming up next, we've got Victor Videos
Music update.
Music update. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back with more right after this. Let's go, Eve. Come on. Help me get this box here. Oh.
This is the brain activity of a normal 14-year-old.
This is the brain activity of a 14-year-old after smoking marijuana. If you use pot, you're not using your brain.
Pete Sampras comes up to serve. Jan Stevenson makes the drive. A.C. Green and Charles Smith pound the boards. Marcus Allen rushes up the middle. Jay Schrader with the touchdown. There are a lot of different parts to play in the American Red Cross. Play your part.
Hi, I'm Dave Dobbins.
And I'm Eve McHugh, and here's what's happening in Christian music on Music Update. King's X has finished touring for the year, according to CCM, for which allows the trio to catch up on much-needed rest. They're also preparing for a fourth album, tentatively titled Since Hector, due out in the spring.
Yeah, those guys have really been hard at work.
Yes, they have.
I really like King's X. We've seen more and more of BBCC Winans these days, Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith, who made some tremendous strides in mainstream music. Now, we're going to be seeing the entry of more of BB and CC Winans on tour in places like the Paramount in Oakland, California, the Fox in St. Louis, and the legendary Apollo Theater in New York. New York, we talk like this. It's the same theater featured in the Cosby Show. Yeah, you say New York?
Yeah, like a reporter.
Yeah, like a reporter. Well, the Winans will be touring with Mike E., who we saw earlier on today's program.
Matthew Ward, formerly a second chapter of Acts, could be heard on the Best of compilation album due out in 1992.
Canada's Bruce Cockburn, Nothing But a Burning Light, is set for release later on this year, which contains the title track, Soul of a Man, which is a tune about an explanation of humanity's inner fire. Columbia Records will be releasing 4 previous efforts at the same time, featuring his recent Big Circumstance and Stealing Fire, and his second LP, High Winds, White Sky, and his first American release, Dancing in the Dragon's Jaws. Watch for these releases from Bruce Cockburn.
Finally, Whiteheart has released a video project called Live at the Powerhouse, which you've seen on our Whiteheart special. It features 3 songs, Powerhouse, Desert Rose, and Independence Day, plus a chit-chat from the boys in the band.
The boys in the band.
The boys in the band.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's Music Update.
I'm Dave Dobbins.
And I'm Eve McHugh. Stay tuned for more Victor videos and Brian Duncan right after this.
A message from the Consumer Information Center in Pueblo, Colorado. If you'd like to give your house some minor tweaks, fix up eensy-beensy leaks, trim your tummy, thighs, and hips, go on safe, exotic trips, bank on stocks and count on bonds, stay away from market cons, then you'll want this free and helpful book listing 200 government pamphlets. Look, for this new edition, just drop a line. Write New Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009.
Yeah, this is DOC, the Disciples of Christ with Ben Reckes in the house, Prophet MB,
and the peace-loving Absalom.
Here on Victory Videos, boy. In effect, we out of here.
See ya. See ya.
Peace.
And welcome back to Victor Videos.
Yes, welcome back to Main Street, Cincinnati.
Where are we?
Well, we're 1850s, 60s.
Oh, that's right.
Main Street,
just
Cincinnati.
kind of walking the cobblestone streets here in the 1850s, 1860s. We don't even know what year it is, but we're actually inside the helm of the Union Terminal Museum Center, and this is inside the Historical Society area of the museum. And boy, if you haven't been down here, this is really fun. Haven't we had a good time?
Yes, it is. It's absolutely fabulous, and something for the old and the young, and probably 2 days or 3 days worth of viewing and playing, and it's a lot of fun.
So we'll try to bring you on Victor Videos today just a little touch of what some of this is about right here in our town in Cincinnati. As you know, each week we try to tell you what's happening right here in your own town. And if you're watching this outside of Cincinnati, y'all need to come in and check this out. For the past several years, close harmonies have been a part of all music. More recently, groups like the Imperials broke ground for tight, close harmonies. This set the stage for Take 6, an all-a cappella vocal group. With the Take 6 success, it's prepared listeners' ears for the fresh success sound of a new group called For Him.
This group won the Dove Award for the New Artist of the Year. And up next is For Him with their big hit, A Man You Would Write About, followed by Innocence Mission, a Pennsylvania-based quartet who just turned last year with Don Henley, featuring their highly spiritual Jewish faith uninspired album with their song called A Hiding Away. 2 in a row on Victory Videos.
Hey, welcome back to Victory Videos. That was Innocent's Mission for him. And we're down on the river here. This is kind of like the focal point where people used to come back in the 1850s and the 1860s, and they still do.
They still do. And I don't know if you can tell, but behind us is the suspension bridge before actually the bridge was put up.
Oh, that's right. There it is, way in the
And
background.
you can see the two brick walls that hold the bridge up right now.
And then they started building it this time?
I think it was 1876 they finished building it. It was actually put up, something like that.
So we kind of like went back in time on Michael J. Fox's time machine just to be here today with you, here in the museum, in the Historical Society part of the Museum Center.
That's neat. On today's Victory Videos, we're featuring a lot of new artists that have caught the eyes and the ears of today's record producers. Today, in Christian music videos, new artists are receiving more of a red carpet treatment with promotional because videos are being produced almost as soon as the record receives publicity.
In addition, a new artist who has graced many months of CCM Magazine's pages with a girl named Julie Miller. We've been plastered with Meet Julie Miller ads that have caught our attention for, gosh, the last several months within this past year. So what we'd like to do is take another look at part 2 of our interview with Julie Miller on Victory Videos.
During this period of time, I was living with my boyfriend, who's now my husband, and I went back to our apartment and we moved the sofa across the room, and underneath the sofa was this Bible that I'd had carried around all these years, and I had it under the couch where the leg was missing. That was keep it down there. It's gonna get me. And we moved it, and I thought, I guess that is really disrespectful. God doesn't deserve that, but I'm not gonna read it. But I shouldn't put it under there like that. I'll leave it at, but I'm not gonna read it. I did end up reading it, and then I kept reading, and I got to the part where he said, "Peter, do you love me?" 3 times, "Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me?" And the Lord really came to me. When I read those words, the Lord spoke to me, and he said, "Julie, do you love me? And not will you perform for me, and not will you be this and be that and act like this and wear this and be this, but do you love me? Would you love me?" And it just really started to break my heart. And yet, I was so down. I felt so hopeless. I honestly, and I had no faith, and I didn't understand the power of God. I didn't, even as God would be speaking to me, I thought, but I would never be a Christian. I couldn't. I'd really like to be. How could you let these tears stained eyes, knowing it's you he's thinking of? How could you tell him you're not ready to give him your life? Could you say you don't think you need his love? Once I wanted to know the truth most of all, and once I saw God's heart. That are the 2 things that started changing me, changing my life. It opened some kind of door, and I tell you, the door opened a little bit, and the anxiousness of God to reveal himself to me poured in. It was time to go sing, and I started walking in and brushing these tears away and thinking, am I flipping out again? No. I believe in God. I believe in God. I could believe in God. I thought it was hopeless. How is there any way you could say no to this man?
When you're growing up, it's tough enough when emotions are stirred. And honesty, it's so hard to see when your vision is blurred.
Whether you're a boy or a girl, Boys Town has a caring person just a phone call away who will really listen to your problems and help you solve them. Call the Boys Town hotline toll free, 1-800-448-3000.
And that was Rachel, and I Will Stand By You. And we're standing here in this Rotunda Theater,
This
the
is
Museum Center.
awesome. It kind of reminds me what St. Pete's Cathedral would look like, and you know what Michelangelo painted on his back.
Well, this is one of the largest facilities in Cincinnati. Of course, it's been here since the 30s, and there used to be some shops in here a couple of years ago, but this has been really restored and a fabulous place. We encourage you to come down. A special thanks to the Museum of Natural History and the Cincinnati Historical Society and the OmniMax for allowing us to be here today to bring this program to you.
Yes, and we should be coming back here.
Yeah,
with our
that's
next
right.
program.
We'll be back here on our next program, so we'd like to encourage you to come back with us. We're going to come in a little closer. A lot of times it's hard to find people that will be there for you, especially when you need them. It's especially important when we're going through difficult times in our life. You know, we all go through difficult times.
Yes, we do.
You know, when we try to depend on someone very close to us for answers and they let us down, it really hurts. But there is someone you can turn to who will never let you down when you're going through tough times. It's Jesus. And he's always there, and you can always turn to him anytime. Finally, in Hebrews 14:5, Jesus says, I will never leave you or forsake you. So if you're in a place today where you really need that special something in your life to fulfill that void that's there, just invite him in because he's here for you. Thanks for being with us today. Let him into your life today. Write to us at Victor Radio, 6800 Hazel Court, Florence, Kentucky, 41042. And join us next week at the same time on Victor Videos. I'm Dave Dobbins.
And I'm Eve McHugh.
Remember to love somebody today with the love of Jesus. Bye-bye.